Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from September 1st until the 8th. And as we begin September, we have a lot of dynamic energies moving us forward, and there is a very strong Virgo New Moon happening on September 6th. So we will be discussing that as well as all of the transiting energies of this week. Now, during September, there is a lot of energy taking root. It's getting formed. It has a foundation, it's building, and it's growing. And you could be feeling this in your life in an area or areas that you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of healing, you've made some significant changes, you've had some deep realizations. This could also be where you have been working on your belief systems. You've been doing deep spiritual work, deep spiritual healing that perhaps only you know about. And this can be very private energies as well, things you've been mastering, putting energy towards, putting effort towards. And September is a beautiful month for having new developments come forward, for the turning of the wheel, so to speak, where there was a lot in August that was intense, that revealed more truths to us. And this is truths about ourselves. And that means that you could see something in yourself that really resonated with you, that was really self-validating, showed you more of what you want, more of who you are now. And as we went through some key thresholds in August, some very big energies that required us to make choices and be in a place of higher consciousness, September is a bit like moving into this new territory, this new land, and looking at what you want to focus on and develop here. And it feels like very new energy. It feels like it has new potentials, new opportunities, and it's all operating within this higher consciousness in yourself. It's basically new energy you've opened up to within yourself based on how far you've come, again, the healing work, the progress, the growth, and it just feels very open. It feels very clear. So trust this for yourself if this resonates. But that's what I've been feeling very strongly about September as we get into this 9th month of the year and we move into some higher energies in ourselves. It doesn't feel like any month we've experienced so far. There's a lot that we've been going through, especially over the last, let's say, 2 years or so. This energy in September feels very different. It feels like we're at that higher level. There's been a leveling up. There's been a lot of growth. This is also where you could feel the disconnection or disparity between being in one place in your life and no longer connecting with other energies, other people, but also those represent previous versions of yourself. And this is very encouraging in terms of what you're ready to manifest and experience next, as well as your own self-honoring, self-respect, really recognizing what you've been through that no one else truly knows. And that is part of our individual human journeys, where there's things that we move through and we're experiencing that we know that can be hard to fully articulate or explain to another. But what I'm feeling is that September is ripe with possibilities. So I hope that supports you in whatever you have coming up this month, whatever you're moving towards, but to also a strong reminder that the work we do pays off. It is seen, it is experienced. The universe, God, Source, Spirit understands and knows what it means to do this kind of work on the earth plane. And I feel like we're getting support for the newness that we're ready to fully own and embrace. Now, for all the ways that August was intense, September feels more level-headed. It feels like there's an energy here where When you're clear on your priorities, on your focus, you direct yourself in that direction, and it leads you to new developments. So this is a month to really be aware of your priorities, what matters to you, and what you're needing to take care of in your life. Now, the sun is in Virgo as we begin the month of September. And the sun in Virgo brings our attention to our daily life, our routines, what we do day in and day out that matters. These are our responsibilities. These are areas of our life where we're assessing how we manage our own energy. Virgo is about energetic management on a daily basis, and that includes your mind, that includes your body, that includes your emotions. That includes all areas of yourself and how you are being discerning with what you can do and what you can't do. And discernment is a key Virgo word where you're aware of what you can handle, what matters, and what does not matter. What would be a waste of time, a waste of effort, where perhaps you need to come back to center and take care of what's in front of you, take care of business, so to speak. So there is responsibility with Virgo energy, and there's also a strong sense of self-care, where you're aware of what you need to maintain your energy. And so where is your body speaking to you? Where can you be more self-nurturing? Where do you need to spend your time in a way that is satisfying, that is fulfilling? And that Virgo energy will look for something bigger than itself to experience or support. Now, Virgo can be very much the energy of a healer, a support system, someone who is a coach or guide, especially in a particular niche. Virgo can be the specialist who understands a particular system or way to do something in a very practical manner. Virgo is associated with the hands and what we do with our energy to create something tangible. So there can be very clear synergies here between body and mind, your intellect and your physical self, and what is satisfying. That sense of, I did a really good job on this today, or I made progress on this today. Virgo is the energy of how we're improving our lives, organizing, finding new solutions. There's also a minimizing energy with Virgo where you clear out the clutter. You minimize what's in your life. It's part of the discernment so that you're not overwhelmed by everything in the world. You bring it back to what you need and what is necessary. So these are just some key themes to be aware of at this time. Virgo is really good at solving problems. And I had an issue in my home the other day, and the specialist that I would normally call was closed for business. So I had to go into Virgo mode and say, okay, how would a Virgo solve this problem? And it's very simple, where it's chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. And the Virgo approach to solving things is that you take care of something through a process, step by step. Every little step matters, and that will get you to the end result. So had to take care of a home issue, and I activated Virgo power, and within 2 hours, things were better, things had improved. And by the way, the issue was my own fault because I overlooked a detail, which is also part of the Virgo qualities. So we want to be focused on the specifics and details of life so that we don't have house problems. Just one example. But then when a problem comes up, again, activate Virgo power, because that's where you get into how to practically take care of something in a very tangible way. Now, these qualities are important to be aware of because the sun is just beginning its transit through Virgo. It's at 9 degrees of Virgo as I do this podcast on September 1st, and it will stay in Virgo until September 22nd, when we will have the fall equinox. So over these next number of weeks, you really want to be aware of the little things, the details, the specifics, make notes, do what's necessary so nothing gets overlooked. And this will also help us with understanding where we can be scattered or overwhelmed and how to come back to basics. Back to basics is another key Virgo phrase. Mars is still in Virgo, and on September 2nd, we'll have an opposition to Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 22 degrees. Mars in Virgo at 22 degrees and Pisces energy at 22 degrees. The Neptune energy is stronger. So that Neptune energy is going to dissolve and remove the power of Mars in Virgo, where if you're really focused on being productive and getting something done, it can be harder with that opposition to Neptune. You might not have as much physical energy. You might even feel defeated because, again, Neptune removes the willpower of Mars. You could feel tired, worn out, like you need a day to rest or a day to go slower. This energy tends to build at least a day or two in advance. So there could be a sense of the energy doesn't feel strong enough just yet, but once Mars moves past that opposition to Neptune, there will be a return to your normal energy, to feeling productive, to getting things done in a more systematic way. I think that this Mars in Virgo is also meant to show us where we're trying to do too much and we need to let go and release something and just say, hey, I'm so sorry. I can't take on one more thing right now. I'm at capacity. My schedule's full. This is where you don't try to push anything because that could be too much. It could feel like you're being pushed over the edge. Now, on September 4th, we have Mercury in Libra making an exact trine to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius at 7 degrees. And this Mercury trining Saturn is clarity, understanding, ideas, communications. This is where something makes sense and you say yes. There's a sense of this is where I'm going, this is what I want to do. And this Mercury in Libra is revealing more around our needs and the conversations that we're ready to have with others, things we want to discuss or put on the table, maybe even something you want to open up and have an ongoing conversation about. That Libra energy is about how we share energies with others, and we currently have Mercury in Libra and Venus in Libra, and these energies are connecting us with the people in our lives that matter, but also it connects us with all people that we interact with through one-on-one connections. And that's something that Libra is about. It's about the one-on-one conversations. Now, this is different than Aquarius, which is about the groups, the collective, the audience, the bigger conversations that we have, say even on social media. But the Mercury in Libra is how we communicate with each other, individual to individual, what is discussed, what is shared. And because we're going to have an upcoming Mercury retrograde in Libra, we're going to be working on our communication skills, being very clear in what we say, how it may come across, how it may land. So this feels like a good week to be very mindful of conversations that get started or get underway because Mercury is going to enter the retrograde shadow zone on September 6th, which is also the Virgo New Moon. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. But just a heads up that any conversations that get started this week, you could have them into early November. And stay aware that not every conversation is meant to have a definitive end. It's almost like when you're looking for a solution and then something else comes up or something changes or it gets switched around. This is where there could be some ongoing conversations around something and there is no clear decision just yet, where there's just ongoing information that comes in or someone new enters the conversation with another idea or possibility. There just is this energy of a lot is in motion, even if it's not quite settled yet, where there isn't a clear solution or agreement. So this is a good time for staying open to new potentials, possibilities, ideas, conversations, especially at work, especially with clients, customers, colleagues, coworkers, the people that you interact with. There could be a lot more conversations being had. And again, I think that's going to be a theme here throughout September and into all of October. The good news is that both Mercury and Venus are strong in Libra. And so there's a sense here of willingness, of seeking out the win-wins, of being more accommodating. There's a sense here that it's actually easier at this time to have some conversations or to get them started. And that could be something to be aware of as September begins. Now, Venus in Libra does have a square to Pluto in Capricorn retrograde at 24 degrees. That is exact on September 5th, right before the new moon. And this is typically a Venus where she understands what she wants and she's willing to work with other people. But Pluto in Capricorn is an authority figure, is a decision maker, is someone who has more power, who says, not right now, no thank you, or challenges what Venus wants. So there could be a sense here that if you're clear on something or you understand what you want, this also relates to money, investments, finances. If you can hold off on making any commitments around that right now, it may be better, at least until after the Virgo new moon, where that new moon has a lot of dynamic energies and a lot of conversations going on. Now, I have a video for you on YouTube that shows you the chart, and I discuss what's happening in the chart, but there's a lot going on here, so it's certainly worth discussing even more in the podcast. On September 6th, there's the Virgo new moon that's happening at 15 degrees of Virgo. So that's the point in your natal chart that you would find by house placement, where you have 15 degrees of Virgo. This is where the new energy is being initiated and supported, where something is coming together for you and is asking for you to be very intentional around how you want to direct it. At the same time, we have the sun and the moon making a near exact trine to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And this is a very exciting energy because now we have that sparkly, electrifying Uranus energy trining the sun and the moon, giving us a zap of confidence, a sense of, yes, I want this. There's often excitement when the Uranus energy is strongly involved, especially in a supportive manner, and there's something bigger unfolding because Uranus is about the higher perspective, the cosmic understanding. I feel like this Virgo new moon has a lot of cosmic support, divine timing. Things are lining up, something's coming together, and all of the personal planets are making connections to the outer planets in some aspect. So we have a lot of forward movement. We have this evolutionary push, but you could feel ready for it. It could feel like, yes, finally, I'm ready for these changes. I'm ready for these developments. I'm ready for what's new. And this is a strong energy, as I was saying, around September in general. So not only do we have that Uranus in Taurus retrograde making an exact trine to the sun and the moon, which helps things move along faster. By the way, it gives it that cosmic push, a little bit of lightning strike, a little bit of a zap, and then something comes together. And these are in the earth signs. So it is about our tangible reality, our physical world. This could be that something shows up for you, something comes through, you get good news. Wouldn't that be great? So there's energies here that are really lovely. We also have Mars in Virgo, now trining Pluto in Capricorn at 24 degrees. And this is a Mars that has some power, that has a surge of confidence. Whereas on September 2nd, Mars lost his confidence. He felt defeated. Maybe there was a setback. Maybe there was something that was taken away from him through that opposition to Neptune and Pisces, now his trine to Pluto and Capricorn is full force. It's like, yes, I want this. I'm going for it. There's a charge of energy. These are also in the earth signs, where if you've been wanting to make some type of transformation in your life, and given the word transformation is very big, it can mean many things, and it means many things in different areas of our lives. This feels like whatever you're ready to start new and fresh, there is a new level of commitment to it. I also feel like this energy, because it's working with the evolutionary energy signature of Pluto, there's something that can take you farther now. There's something that can take you further along, whereas if you had a lot of yellow lights, red lights, things being stalled out or delayed, maybe even sidetracked, maybe even something's been on pause. And I even feel like this could be energy you've been sensing throughout all of this year, if not longer. It feels like this new moon is bringing in a lot of new energies that are pushing us forward. And what it looks like is that if something was held back, or again, you had to wait, or it was delayed, it's almost like everything comes forward very quickly. It comes forward in a way that is it feels really positive. It feels confidence boosting. It feels like it's this push. It's a love push. So a love push is when you're giving someone a push out of love. Like I remember this one time I was in Amsterdam with a friend of mine, and the only part of that trip I'm going to tell you about is that we were walking down the street and there was this huge puddle that she was about to literally stomp right into, and I gave her a love push, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just saved you from that giant puddle." But she's like, "Oh yeah, okay." So she forgave me, but it was like the kind of push that you're not expecting from a friend, but it was a love push because that was the intention. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the universe is giving you a love push so that you don't step in that puddle or you don't miss the boat on something. It's like, and you're going, and it's happening, and there's movement now, ready or not, because it's time. And it's time to keep it moving forward. It's not time to sit on the sidelines or, this is interesting, to stay in any kind of victim mode. Now, we can have unconscious victim energy at times that relates to our fears, our worries, our anxiety, that relates to a belief system, or even a poverty consciousness, or a sense of scarcity or lack. There's many ways we can have victim consciousness in a way that we don't always see in ourselves. But the universe sees you as powerful, and as we raise our vibration around who we are, around our energy, around our sense of self, we start to see these things in ourselves. So, for example, if you had some kind of victim energy or victim mentality, what you are experiencing is a disconnection from your power, a disconnection from your own authority, from your choices, from other options or other perspectives that you could develop and strengthen. And sometimes we're not aware of this, especially if you've had repeating patterns where you've perceived someone else or something else as being more powerful than you. That can be an opportunity to then step into your power and into your authority in a whole new way. These can be very big life experiences. They can also be smaller life experiences where you're doing something that you were previously intimidated by, for example. Like you're trying something new that you didn't know you could do, doing a new exercise, or trying a new machine at the gym for muscles you know aren't very strong or well developed. You're essentially taking your power back and you're asserting yourself from a place of willingness and I'm going to try and I'm going to do my best. These are also Virgo qualities. So what we're looking at here is that this Virgo new moon is giving you a love push. You're moving forward. There's something you're moving into, you're moving towards, ready or not. Here it is, here it's happening. And you're also going to have potentially an opportunity to observe yourself and what is coming up for you around that. Do you believe you deserve this? Do you believe you're worthy? This goes into our deeper energies of self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance. And I feel like because the universe is acknowledging and recognizing how much you've shifted and changed, this is also where you're monitoring where any lower levels of consciousness are still residing within you and how to reprogram those. The energies are working with us at multiple layers. And at the same time, during this Virgo new moon, Venus in Libra trines Jupiter retrograde in Aquarius at 25 degrees, and that is typically very joyful. That's where you could want to spend a lot of money, have an exciting adventure, do something new and different, get together with friends, plan a trip. There's something that can be very invigorating when Venus trines Jupiter. And we also have a kite formation with Chiron at the point of the kite. Chiron is being sextiled by Saturn in Aquarius and the North Node in Gemini, and is being opposed by Mercury in Libra at 10 degrees, where Mercury is now entering his shadow period. So what this means, what all that means, especially if you don't speak the language of astrology, is that whatever you've been healing and working on this year, you're going to see something new reflected back to you through that Mercury in Libra energy. It's going to give you some new insights. There's new knowledge coming in about what you've been healing. There's something coming to your awareness now around the bigger picture of it all. Perhaps something you just didn't see in yourself that's being reflected back to you. There's also something here that I feel is coming from a new way of approaching the same issue, where it's seeing the other side of the coin. There is also objectivity here. With the strong air signs, it's about being objective. And so it's not about going into the emotional experience. It's stepping back and saying, oh, I see this from a balanced, clear place. I understand what I've been working on, and it's felt very personal to me, which is what that Chiron in Aries does. Aries is our sense of self, and the Chiron energy here is bringing up new parts of ourselves that we haven't consciously seen before. And in Aries, it can be parts of our ego and self-identity. It can be related to impatience, impulsivity, anger. It can be about self-importance, needing to be number one. These are some of the lower expressions of Aries. And Chiron is revealing how you are worthy just as you are, and how you can soften to yourself, how you can be kinder and gentler to yourself. And this particular kite formation, it feels like the energy comes from someone else, and then it lands within you, and you're like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I've been healing or working through. There's something about another source of energy outside of you that is the mirror, and it's mirroring back something. This could be even through a conversation with someone or something you overhear. This can be something you read or you come across. I mean, it doesn't have to be an in-person experience, but there's something about a deep illumination around what you've been healing, how to depersonalize it, how to step back from it, perhaps even see it as more of a universal human experience, more of a universal theme, even though it feels so personal or subjective. I feel like there's something that is opening up. It's like cracking open here, that you're understanding about yourself with higher compassion and higher kindness and a sense of, I'm just doing my best. And I didn't see it that way before. And wow, I never understood it from that angle or that perspective. And this is really helping me understand it. And now I see it in a whole different light. So there's something expansive that's clicking and coming together, where Chiron is at the point of this kite formation, and there's new awareness coming through. And this could also pertain to some much deeper soul healing themes that you've carried for lifetimes. And that's why it feels so big or personal or intense, is because it's an energy you have reenacted over and over again for many lifetimes. And this is the lifetime where your consciousness is high enough to see it from a more detached manner. So it could be that big, especially if Chiron in Aries has been working with you personally in your chart. It's a bit like something could just give you pause. Like it really resonates, it's really sinking in, and then it helps connect all the dots in some other areas of your life or some other themes that you're moving through. So overall, September begins in a very dynamite manner, where the new energies are here, there is movement, there is progress, there's a sense of it's time to move forward and to let the past be, to let things go, because it really isn't a part of your energy anymore. And that could be a fairly neutral way of thinking of it, where that just doesn't resonate anymore. That's just no longer an interest for me. I don't have an energetic connection to it anymore. And if this involves people, relationships, whomever in your world, you can also see it through a very neutral lens where everyone is moving forward or not based on their own personal sovereignty and free will. And because so many of you are leaders in your soul groups, you typically go first. You're the one who goes off in a new direction or tries something new. You do something different. You perhaps are the first who has a spiritual awakening or who goes into this higher consciousness stuff. There's a lot that you agreed to in this life because you were ready. You said yes. You said yes to yourself. You said yes to your soul growth. And you said yes to the new parts of your life that you are ready to manifest and experience. So there's also this sense too that you could feel a disconnect from your previous self-identities, even if that's previous jobs, previous roles, of course, other people, but it's confirmation of your growth. You know, it's meant to be validating. It's meant to be supportive and positive, where you've accelerated in some really big ways. Even if nobody else knows, you know, Spirit knows, the universe knows. And so here you have some new potentials and exciting adventures to explore because of what you've created for yourself. And it feels like this is worth celebrating. You know, this is worth acknowledging for yourself, because as you do that, then that is the energy you continue to generate and regenerate, right? Is that positive energy, that sense of gratitude, that sense of self-acknowledgement, and also it opens up the energy in your life. You know, it spreads into other areas of your life as well. I also wanted to mention that the Schumann Resonance has been very high over the past week or so, and that is the measurement of one form of the Earth's electromagnetic field. And the Earth's energy, also known as the Earth's heartbeat, is typically between 7 and 8 hertz, and it has been very high. On August 30th, 31st, it was at 61. There were some days it was at 48. So essentially, the energy on the Earth has been elevated, and it's been more extreme. We can feel this in our own energy fields as being very tired or hungry. It can relate to our sense of feeling energies, even anxiety, and you don't know why, or a sense of agitation or irritation. And these are the frequencies on the planet. Now, this is in addition to some of the solar flares we've been experiencing as well, and other things that have been working with the Earth's field. So know that it's not simply you that is feeling things intensely at times, chances are there's something more happening on the planet. And you can follow the Schumann Resonance and check it out. It is recorded on various websites. You can just Google it, and it's spelled SCHUMANN Resonance. And it can give you an understanding of what is happening on the planet at this time and how to take care of yourself when the energies are strong and more exceptional. We have a beautiful start to September. I hope you're feeling it in yourself, in your world, in your energy. And I hope that September introduces you to more of what you're ready for in your life. New potentials, new openings, next steps, whatever that might be for you. I hope that this is a month that really puts you in alignment with what you're ready to experience next. So as always, thank you so much for joining me for this podcast where I have episodes for you every Monday and Wednesday. And you can find out more about my latest offerings over at mollymccord.online. You'll also find the September Soul Growth Astrology webinar program that's now available. If you use coupon code Virgo, you get it for $11. And it is 4 individual webinars discussing all of the energy of September. So you can follow along and see how the transiting planets will be working with you in your natal astrology chart. I wish you a beautiful Virgo New Moon. Please check out that chart video I have for you on YouTube discussing more of the energies. And I hope that you have some beautiful love pushes from the universe here as we move into September. So I will see you back here every Monday and Wednesday. Take good care, and thank you so much for joining me for this podcast.